All right, so today we are diving into a story that is it's incredible. It's all about how one piece of tech is completely flipping the script on what we thought we knew about the ancient world. We're going to see how it's uncovering these lost worlds that were hidden in plain sight the whole time. And in the process, it's rewriting the very definition of civilization in ancient America.
So, let me ask you something. When I say lost city, what pops into your head? For most of us, right, it's probably a very specific image. Something huge, monumental. You're picturing these stone pyramids rising out of a jungle or vast plains.
And you know, for the longest time in North America, that image was basically defined by one single place, the amazing city of Cahokia. This was the textbook example, the poster child for a pre-colonial metropolis, a real powerhouse of culture.
To really get why this new discovery is such a big deal, we first have to understand the old model. And there is absolutely no better place to start than with Cahokia, a city that was, for its time, truly one of the greatest on the entire planet.
What's just wild here is how fast it all happened. Around 1050 AD, the city went through what archaeologists literally call a Big Bang, this huge, super fast expansion. It hit its peak just 50 years later, and then, a couple of centuries after that, poof, it's empty. A total ghost town.
And when we say metropolis, we are not kidding. At its height, Cahokia was home to as many as 20,000 people, and that's not even counting the tens of thousands more living in the farmlands all around it. This wasn't just some big town, it was a sprawling urban center.
Now, to really put that into perspective for you, around the year 1100, Cahokia was actually bigger than London was at the exact same time. Yeah, you heard that right. For a huge network of people, this was the center of their universe, built on these massive mounds and a whole lot of centralized power.
So this image of Cahokia, this powerful, top-down city, has really dominated our thinking for decades. But that's the key question, isn't it? What if that's not the only way to build a complex, successful society? What if something just as massive, but totally different, was out there the whole time, just waiting?
And this is where our story takes a hard left turn, all thanks to our technological hero. It's a tool called LiDAR, and it's letting us literally see the past in a way that was impossible before now.
So what the heck is LiDAR? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like an X-ray for archaeology. It's a technology that can digitally peel back all the stuff on the surface, like, say, a really dense forest, to show us the exact shape of the ground underneath with incredible pinpoint precision. The process itself is pretty cool. You have a drone flying over an area, and it's just firing down thousands of laser pulses every single second. By measuring how long it takes for those little pulses of light to bounce back, it creates this super detailed 3D map. Then, the software just digitally deletes the trees, and all of a sudden, bam! The hidden shapes of the ancient world just appear. And that brings us to a mind-blowing discovery in a place most people would never think to look. We're heading way up north, into the thick forests on the border of Michigan and Wisconsin, to a place the Menominee Nation calls Anama Moat.
You know, for years, archaeologists knew that the ancestors of the Menominee had farmed this land. You could even see these faint little ridges in the ground if you knew exactly where to look. But the forest just held its secrets tight. You could never see the big picture. It was a puzzle with almost all the pieces missing.
Until now. Using drone LiDAR, researchers essentially erased the forest, and what they found? It's breathtaking. Not just a couple of farm plots. We're talking about a massive, intricate system of raised garden beds arranged in these beautiful quilt-like patterns that stretch across the landscape for miles and miles. A whole engineered world hidden under the trees for centuries.
And get this was no flash in the pan. We're not talking about a short-lived experiment. Carbon dating shows that this incredible farming system was kept up and continuously worked for 600 years. Just think about that. 600 years of sustainable, intensive agriculture. It's astounding.
So the really crucial point here is summed up perfectly by the lead archaeologist, Madeline McLeister. This discovery isn't just about finding some old farms. It forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about how ancient people fed themselves on a massive scale.
And this sets up this fantastic comparison. We now have two powerful, successful, ancient American societies living at the same time. But it looks like they follow two completely different blueprints to get there.
This slide really boils it all down. On one side, you've got Cahokia, a city all about centralized power, big chiefs, and building these massive monumental mounds. And on the other side, you have Omot, a more egalitarian society defined by a huge engineered landscape of raised farm beds.
Let's break that down a little more. Cahokia was very top-down, right? Hierarchical. Those huge projects were probably ordered up by a powerful ruling class. But Anna Amat seems to have been all about community. These fields weren't built by some king's decree. They were built and tended by individual families and growers working together, passing down these amazing techniques for enriching the soil that worked for centuries. And this right here, this is the game changer. For decades, the going theory was that to get big-time, intensive farming, you needed a powerful, centralized state to organize everybody, like in Cahokia. And A.M. Almut completely proves that wrong. It shows you can get there another way, through collective, bottom-up innovation.
So what's the big takeaway here? Why is finding a 600-year-old farming system in a Michigan forest such a massive deal? Well, it's because it forces us to basically throw out the old, simple stories and start appreciating a much more complex and, honestly, a way more interesting past.
The implications are just huge. I mean, this discovery proves there was no single path to building a complex society in ancient America. The ancestral Menominee people were brilliant engineers who created a sustainable system that lasted for centuries. And if it happened here, it makes you think that maybe these kinds of huge agricultural landscapes were actually common all across the continent, just lost to time and hidden by the forests.
It's just such a powerful reminder that history isn't always buried deep underground in some treasure chest. Sometimes the biggest, most revolutionary discoveries are etched right into the landscape, just waiting for a new way of looking at things to bring them back to life.
And that kind of leaves us with this one last big thought. For centuries, this massive engineered world went almost totally unnoticed. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As technology like LiDAR gets even better and easier to use, what other lost worlds are still out there just waiting for us to find them? What else have we been missing this whole time?